Today's episode is called Small Banks, Big Business Difference.
Educate your money now.
Hello, and welcome to Educating Your Money podcast. I'm your host, Kristen kirui-case, owner of Matt Nick Bookkeeping Services. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. Today's episode is called Small Banks, Big Business Difference. We will be discussing some differences between small and local banks and big banks, and bank fees, and some helpful questions to ask when choosing merchant services. A question for our followers: how much a year does your business spend in bank fees? Let us know below. We would like to thank Out and About Business Solutions for sponsoring our podcast today. Today's guest is Michael Jackson, Vice President Relationship Banker for First Foundation Bank. Michael earned a bachelor's degree in business from Cal State Long Beach. He has a long 21-year career in business banking, starting with Wells Fargo in 1999, recruited to Chase Bank Business Banking in 2010, then subsequently recruited to Bank of America Business Banking in 2011, and worked with the organization in 2018. He spent 1 year with Nevada State Bank Business Banking until being recruited to grow First Foundation Bank in Las Vegas. Hello, Michael, and thank you for being on the show today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So needless to say, you have had experience with big banks and small local banks. And I must say that this has been a pain point, I think, for many businesses, including my clients, when speaking about bank fees and bank charges and just the differences between big banks and local banks. They like the convenience of big banks, but tend to get bogged down with all of the fees and costs of maybe some of those big banks that may carry. So, Michael, we have some questions from some of our followers. With all of your experience on both sides of the coin, maybe you can help provide some answers. What are the major expenses you see in your industry that small businesses incur?
Well, one of the major expenses that you will find with a small business or even a big business is moving money, and the cost of moving money. Whether you're collecting money from your clients or you're sending money out to your vendors, that's by far definitely one of the biggest areas where we'll find ways to save money.
Yeah, because I know that probably tends to happen a lot with businesses moving money back and forth. If it even between their own bank accounts and then also outside bank accounts, I would imagine.
Yes, even between their own. I know before, previously we had talked about one of my clients where she was spending probably $2,000-3,000 a month just in fees, moving money in between her own accounts. So then it gets to the point where how much money are you spending sending money to other people? So yeah, it's definitely that's a very big spot for me to always try and find to save money for business owners.
Yeah, thanks. Another large expense that I see with my clients sometimes and hearing from other small businesses has to do with bank fees and charges. Are there ways that they can reduce or eliminate some of these fees? And maybe this could be a difference between, maybe large and, smaller banks too.
Yeah, there are always ways to try and find ways to save fees. It's really banking. I've learned over the last 20 plus years is I look at it like a game. And I love to try and strategize and find ways to beat the game. And beating the game to me is you saving money and finding ways to run your business most efficiently. Big banks, there are ways to get past the fees, but they're not very flexible when it comes to maybe lowering fees, giving you discounts, doing something to help out the business. That is a big difference when it comes to a small bank. Small bank is more relationship driven. because they don't have as many clients. So where a big bank, they may have, 30,000 clients. A smaller bank may have 1,000, 500. So they really value that relationship more than you would know. So a smaller bank will do everything that they can to try and accommodate your business and help you grow. When a business grows, the bank grows. So it's a win-win.
Right. Many small business owners complain about how expensive it is to open just simple bank business accounts versus personal accounts.
Mm-hmm.
What options are there for small business owners to maintain their business accounts without breaking the bank for them?
Nowadays, over the years, a lot of the big banks have raised their minimum requirements. My bank, First Foundation, for instance, if you open a business account, we'll tend to just give you a personal account for free to go along with it, kind of like a thank you. Like I said, when it comes to a bigger bank, there's very little leeway on that. You meet the minimum requirements for the business account, and you have to meet the minimum requirements for the personal account. So, but yeah, like I said, the smaller bank, like I said, in another area, that's something that they'll make exceptions to accommodate you and help you. Plus, the minimum requirements are much lower.
Oh, yeah.
I know nowadays, kind of across the board, the bigger banks tend to be probably $3,500. Some, I believe, go as high as like $5,000 for to waive a service fee, like just the minimum service fee for an account. First Foundation is $500, so that's a big difference for a small business.
Yeah, because I know obviously with COVID, some of my clients where they were carrying higher balances and they weren't incurring fees have now throughout the last few months have actually dropped their fees or maintaining below that average, and now are incurring those fees. I'm starting to see their fees collecting where they weren't before.
Yeah, to me, COVID is definitely, it's changed a lot of things. So I think it's me personally, I think it's something that you have to adapt as a business owner.
Right.
I started personally in business banking probably about 2005. So it was a few years. So I got to see the 2008 era and see how a lot of businesses that had to make the big changes to adapt, and they were able to come through it. And then other businesses that didn't make changes and adapt, they didn't make it. So it's one of those things where you do have to look at different avenues to see what you can do to save money so that you can survive.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the differences between big banks and smaller banks, since you have experience on both sides, that could be helpful for a business owner to know about?
Probably one of the biggest ones right now, because I've had to deal with it personally too. Not just banking, but just almost any big business that you have to deal with now, is customer service.
Yeah.
Having to sit there and wait 30 minutes to an hour to get through with customer service, when here, even though our customer service is only during business hours because we are smaller, we're here right away to pick up the phone. It doesn't go to an answer machine. If the phone number doesn't pick up in the branch, it actually forwards to my cell phone. So you're and it works the same for my boss and the assistant manager. So very, very rarely will you'll see it where it actually goes to voicemail, and then you'll get a call back right away.
Yeah. Wow. That's great.
Yeah. So that's definitely a very good difference when it comes to small bank versus big bank. But then also just a lot of the products that we have are the same that you'll find at a big bank. Mobile banking, online banking. But it's just the fee structure. We're not as big. We don't have as many locations. We don't have as much overhead. So our products are not as expensive. So that in itself right there is a definite plus. And like I said, when it comes to operating a small business, everywhere you can save money, you really have to, so that you can help it grow. And then, like I said, on top of that, our fee structure is much better. It's more accommodating. As a bank, we're more accommodating to, your specific needs.
Having the ability to be flexible as a banker, it, comes in handy to help out those small businesses or business owners who may need it every so often.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely does help.
When a small business owner is considering merchant services, what questions should they think about when choosing the right one for their business?
When it comes to merchant services, you really want to find out like what options you have as far as terminals. That's a big expense that I see for businesses, are terminals. Over the years, you'll see a lot of compliance will change when it comes to terminals, security protocols. So it's like it's almost like iPhone, like they're wanting you to upgrade all of the time. So you want to go with the most cost efficient, thing you can. Whether it's an auto mechanic and you just get the small, whether you're getting the merchant device that hooks up to your phone, you get the handheld one, or if you're a retail location and you want to keep track of merchandise, then you may have to go with the bigger, more PC-like terminal, kind of like a tablet. You may have to spend that. But when you look at a merchant provider, you want to look at your different options. There are numerous different options. And sometimes they may tell you you only have 2, but there's probably about 4 or 5 at least different options. You want to learn the ins and outs of merchant processing. It is very complicated. I would say in business banking, that is probably one of the more complicated products, or complex products to get an understanding of, because you will pay different fees, whether it's a debit card or if it's a credit card. If it's a credit card with points, if it's a business credit card with points, if it's an Amex or a Discover, you will pay different for everything. So you really want to know what that is. You want to find out if it's more cost efficient for you to. I know a lot of places now will charge, or they will have minimum requirements for purchases, whether it's $5 or $10 minimum purchase. If you're purchasing something, let's say if it's over $50, is it better for you to do a credit card transaction, or do you have the ability to do ACH? So processing as one method to accept payments. There's even a multitude of other options you can do to accept payments from clients. So, like I said, when you look at selecting a merchant provider, you do want to get an in-depth understanding of all of the different options that will go into merchant processing. So, but like I said, when it comes to moving money in and out, when you sit with the business banker, really give the banker an understanding of your business. Most recently, we just had a client where we set them up with ACH and we set them up with Lockbox. A lot of clients may not know what Lockbox is. That's another method of accepting payments. That's good for, like, let's say maybe doctor's offices, attorneys, someone doesn't have to get paid at that moment, on demand. That's a good option. What Lockbox is basically the client, you send out a bill, they'll send back the payment, but it actually comes back to the bank, or our Lockbox provider, and we'll open it and deposit it into your account for you, so you don't have to deal with that. So like I said, there are a multitude of different options when it comes to accepting payment. Merchant is a very complex one. That one, like I said, you want to get a good understanding of, and it doesn't hurt to get a second opinion. If you get an opinion on pricing from one merchant provider, take it to another one and show them. Don't be afraid. Tell them, hey, I got this offer. Show me what you can do. Beat them for me. And then get an understanding from another professional as to what's going on. And then ask questions. Get an explanation from the first merchant one, and then highlight everything. Maybe ask him or her, and then ask the same question to the second person. See what answer you get. To me, it's having a business is probably more important than buying a home. This is your life. You're investing a lot of things into it. So make sure you definitely get a good understanding of it.
So what could a business owner expect if they were to come into your bank and have a need to see you? What can they expect?
From me personally?
From you personally, from the bank, yeah.
For me, I like to give someone advice as if it was my own business. I want to see you succeed. So you really want your banker to really have that sense of pride for your company and want that success for you, just like you do yourself. So that's what you can expect from me. That's what you can expect from the bank here. Because like I said, we're a small bank. We're relationship driven. So we do want you to succeed. You know, everybody here, there's probably about 5 of us. We know our clients. They can actually pick all my coworkers at the front door. Everyone wears a mask and they know who they are through the mask, like from 30 feet away. So you want definitely a really solid relationship. And like I said, that's one thing you'll find after all the years working at the big banks and working at the smaller banks. That is a definitely big difference.
I would like to thank Michael for taking time out of his busy schedule and coming on the show and sharing his expertise. Be sure to post any questions or comments you may have below. Let us know if there is a topic you'd like to have discussed on the show. Comment below or email educatingyourmoney@gmail.com. Michael, if any of our followers have specific questions or wanted to discuss more with you, how can they reach you?
You can definitely give me a call. My direct number, 702-659-1855. Or you can email me at mjackson@ff-inc.com.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching Educating Your Money podcast, where it's not just about making money, but about educating your money. See you next Monday for the next episode. Thank you and stay safe, everyone.
Educating